Middle East tensions escalate, ongoing confrontation between Israel, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hamas in Gaza. The recent deterioration of the Middle East situation reveals the escalating conflict between Israel and its adversaries in the region. Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Ongoing clashes and difficult peace negotiations. In November 24th, the Israeli military launched intensive airstrikes targeting Hezbollah strongholds in southern Beirut. Although Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Danny Danon, claimed that ceasefire negotiations were making progress, the frequent escalation of military clashes suggests that achieving a truce remains far off. Michael Herzog, Israel's ambassador to the U.S., added that a potential agreement might be reached in a few days, but progress ultimately depends on the political maneuvering and military developments on both sides. Hamas releases hostage corpse photo. International outrage ensues. On November 25th, Hamas released a photo purportedly showing the corpse of a female hostage from Gaza. This action immediately drew strong attention and condemnation from the international community. Israel has launched an investigation to verify the photo's authenticity and background. Meanwhile, Israel accused Hamas of using this act to provoke emotional confrontation and increase its leverage in negotiations. This incident has further heightened tensions in Gaza. Multilateral pressure on the Middle East. Context and impact of the conflict. Israel is currently facing pressure on multiple fronts. Hezbollah and Hamas have created a pincer threat from the north and south, respectively, backed by Iran's strategic support. Additionally, the progress of ceasefire negotiations is tied to Israel's international standing. The U.S. and other Western countries hope to prevent a larger-scale regional war, while Arab nations are focused on how the Israeli-Palestinian peace process could impact regional stability. Analysis and outlook. The future of the Middle East. The complexity of the current Middle East situation is not only rooted in escalating military conflicts but also reflects the intersection of various geopolitical powers. The tense relations between Israel, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hamas in Gaza are steadily pushing the region toward a new phase of instability. Risk of expanding military conflict. Israel is under increasing pressure to manage multi-front conflicts. The coordinated actions of Hezbollah and Hamas indicate a certain level of strategic alignment aimed at posing a sustained threat to Israel from both the north and south. Iran's support for these two forces further exacerbates the uncertainty of the situation. If Israel chooses to escalate its military response, the risk of a full-scale war will rise rapidly, potentially involving Syria, Iraq, and other neighboring countries, leading to broader regional chaos. Challenges and opportunities for diplomatic efforts. Although Israel and the international community are actively pursuing ceasefire negotiations, the path to lasting peace remains long. Israel must balance its military advantages with international public opinion, while the U.S. and other Western nations aim to stabilize the Middle East through negotiations to prevent further refugee crises and disruptions to energy supplies. Meanwhile, Arab countries are divided on the issue of Israeli-Palestinian peace. Some support Hamas, while others attempt to remain diplomatically neutral. This division further complicates the peace process in the Middle East. Worsening humanitarian crisis and the need for international intervention in the ongoing military conflicts. Civilians in Gaza are bearing the brunt. Israel's blockade and airstrikes have caused severe damage to local infrastructure, with medical resources in short supply and refugee flows surging. Additionally, southern Lebanon has become a new front line due to the confrontation between Hezbollah and Israel, severely impacting the lives of local residents. The international community must act not only to push for a ceasefire but also to provide humanitarian aid to affected civilians and ensure basic living conditions. Shifts in the geopolitical landscape. As developments in the Middle East not only affect the region, but could also reshape the global geopolitical landscape. Israel's security issues are closely linked to U.S. strategic interests, while countries like Iran, Russia, and China may use the current situation to strengthen their influence in the region. Amid this multipolar contest, the Middle East is gradually becoming a new hotspot for global power struggles.
Future outlook. The future of the Middle East is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. In the short term, military conflicts may escalate further, and even if ceasefire negotiations make progress, mutual distrust could lead to breakdowns. The humanitarian crisis faced by civilians will become the focus of international attention, prompting greater involvement from global organizations and nations. In the medium term, if regional conflicts cannot be effectively contained, other related countries such as Syria, Iraq, and even Saudi Arabia may be drawn in, creating a wider regional war. This would pose a serious threat to the global energy market and economic stability. In the long term, achieving peace in the Middle East will require stronger international cooperation, particularly in resolving the broader Israeli-Palestinian issue. Geopolitical competition could make the Middle East an important battleground for the redistribution of global power. Conclusion: the future peace and stability of the Middle East require comprehensive efforts in military, diplomatic, and humanitarian dimensions. At the same time, the international community should actively promote dialogue and compromise among internal forces in the region to prevent the current crisis from escalating into a global conflict.